What is good, defenders? And welcome to a shocking day of news in the LAFC universe. Doolo beat y'all to it. You're going to have to wait a little bit for all you Doolo Out supporters, of which I am not one, like we have talked about. I am a fully supportive Doolo in kind of guy, but absolutely shocked at the news today that apparently Steve Cherundolo is going to step down at the end of the 2025 season to go focus on the family and move back to Germany. Now, if any of you out there don't know Steve Cherundolo's pedigree, it's very important to understand where and how this all developed. Steve Cherundolo made his career playing in Hanover for Hanover 96. Anybody who follows Bundesliga, if you talk to Philly, if you talk to Tilo, if you talk to anybody else, they can tell you he was an extremely beloved figure in Hanover. So much so, in fact, not only did he wear the captain's armband, but he earned the nickname, and we're talking about a San Diego native, born and raised. He earned the nickname the Mayor of Hanover. I mean, an incredible honor for somebody like Steve Cherundolo. And obviously, his formative years as a professional, as an athlete, as a man, were spent in Hanover. Unbelievable that now he's going to be headed back to Germany. And look, don't be surprised. And I don't know a single thing. I'm not speaking from knowledge of any kind. But don't be surprised if Steve Cherundolo and Hanover 96 have a bit of a relationship after he heads back to Germany. Now, look, a lot of the things on social media are saying it's mainly his family that is kind of driving this decision. And Steve Cherundolo, just, I believe, 46 years old. Born February 19th, 1979. 46 years old. He last played in a competitive match 11 years ago. So he's come quite a long ways in 11 years. Steve Cherundolo stepping down at the end of the 2025 season. And all I'm going to say to everybody out there is be careful what you wish for, because the grass is not always greener on the other side. In fact, I don't know. Let's look at his 157 matches, first of all. In his 157 matches, he's won 88 of them. 88 of them. 22 draws, 47 defeats in 157 matches. So that's 110 of his 157 matches that Steve Cherundolo has not lost. 110 of 157 matches that he has not lost. Given up 198 goals, outscored the opposition during that time by 110 goals in 157 matches, averaging just over 1.8 points per game. Those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. And look, for all of you that want to talk about how many finals has he lost, it's hard to argue against some of that, for sure. It's hard to argue against some of that. But I will say this. How many matches do you honestly feel that we were tactically outmatched? I think if you look at the León, 2 legs against León, I don't think we looked good in either one of those. We looked very flat in that. And there were a couple of other matches. Most frustratingly, I will say that Miami match a couple of seasons ago, that was a rough one. I think that luckily, Cheeky Palacios chases a ball down to the end line. I know Gareth Bale gets all the credit, but Cheeky Palacios chases a ball down to the end line. And we are one half of a soccer ball away of that being out of bounds. We're one half of a soccer ball away from his only trophy on the resume being an Open Cup. And I don't know. Here's what I can tell you. everybody needs to get very realistic very quickly about what is going on next for LAFC. Okay. Jurgen Klopp is probably not walking through that door. Jurgen Klopp is probably not walking through that door. There are plenty of European coaches out there that are not walking through that door. A name that has been thrown out. A name that has been thrown out is obviously Jim Curtin. A lot of you loving that name. That one kind of boggles my mind. Philly and I were talking about that one quite a bit. So you want the guy that Steve Cherundolo beat to be your next coach in the final. Okay. All right. I get that. I hear you, I guess. And someone was saying earlier in one of our feeds, can we get Wilfried Nancy? Why? Why would Wilfried Nancy leave what he's building, right? Johnny in the chat right now, I'm going to throw out Ante Razov. There's an extra syllable in there, but he means Ante Razov. Listen, if you wanted Doolo out, why the hell do you want Ante Razov in? I mean, Doolo, a defender, Ante Razov, a striker during his playing career. Ante Razov, one of a handful of players with over 100 goals in Major League Soccer. Maybe that's the next move. Obviously, we tend to kind of pick from the same tree every now and then, although Steve Cherundolo was an outside hire. He had his first coaching gig, really. I mean, his first head manager job at Las Vegas Lights, but that was only to fine-tune a system that we brought over to LAFC that looked very, very good for quite some time. And now we've turned into a Serie A team, having to beat teams 1-0 oftentimes, which, by the way, Giorgio Chiellini would be proud of. I'm perfectly fine with beating teams 1-0, especially when our defense is as good as it can be. But I just ask all of you out there that are in the Doolo Out community, and yes, Coach Giorgio would be wonderful. I'd be all for that. I ask all of you that are in the Doolo Out community. Philly says this over and over again. I've said it. If Doolo out, who do you realistically want in? And now I think the season can go one of two ways, right? Obviously, our guys know now that Steve Cherundolo is going to be leaving at the end of the season. Now, are some of the guys in the locker room potentially happy about that? I imagine that if you maybe ask Yaya Boa or Nkosi Tafari or some of the other guys that might not be getting as much run as maybe they feel like they deserve, I imagine those guys would be, okay, let's see who's coming next. Matias Almada for Pachuca. Sure, Juan. I hear you on that one. That might be a good one. Matias Almeida. That could be a good one. I don't know. But for all of you saying Doolo out, who's going to be in? The season can go one of two ways. Now, I hope and I believe that this season will be one where we circle the wagons. Maybe this is that last little bit that our boys need out there on the pitch. And to be perfectly clear, anybody who thinks these guys need motivation, if they need motivation, they shouldn't be on the club. And I don't want to hear, the coach should be motivating them to play well. They're being put in a position to win tactically. I just don't agree with those that feel that that's not the case. They're being put in a position to win tactically, I would say at least 90% of the matches, okay? At least 90% of the matches. But it's the players who haven't been finishing the chances. And the first person who will tell you that is Denis Bouanga. The second person who will tell you that is Denis Bouanga. And the third person who will tell you that is Denis Bouanga. Because there have been chance after chance after chance that we are all looking at Denis Bouanga going, Denis, last couple seasons, you put away those chances. Now, that's not on the coach. But I think this season is going to be a circle the wagon season. And it's going to be that extra bit of motivation that we need to get over the hump. Ruben, this is not an impromptu pod instead of one more sleep. We're still going to be doing one more sleep tonight at 9 o'clock. Don't worry. But I feel like I had to come on, had to talk with you guys because today's news, I was in the middle of teaching you guys and my phone was blowing up. I'm sure all of you guys, when the news came down, everyone was just shocked. Like I thought it was Juan, a good Juan out there on Twitter, kind of messing with everybody. I already saw that Juan signed Georgios Giacomakis today. But let's talk about the other thing that I don't think is Doolo's fault, or maybe it is. Maybe John Thorrington and Steve Cherundolo sat in the room with each other and decided, yeah, let's move forward on this. But I don't think that Olivier Giroud has helped Steve Cherundolo one bit. One bit. And for all of you that want Doolo out, the fact that you are not screaming even louder for Olivier Giroud out, that part baffles my mind. That part baffles my mind. Because what we've seen in the Miami game, we had 7 chances, 7 good chances, not 7 shots, not 7 times where if only we would have made one more pass. 7 legitimate chances where we are in a goal-scoring opportunity and come up short. 7 legitimate chances against Miami. How many other times this season have we rued just 1 play or 2 plays or 3 chances over the course of 90 minutes that would have changed the entire outlook of the season? And I'm sorry, but when you're having to give the minutes that you have to give to Olivier Giroud, it's not working. And can we all just step back for just a minute and think about what we lost at the beginning of this season? It wasn't Steve Cherundolo's idea to have Kike Oliveira throw a temper tantrum and never come back to the club. It wasn't Steve Cherundolo's idea to have Jesus Murillo take a job at FC Juarez, which is a step down from LAFC. And now some people might be saying, well, maybe Murillo didn't want to play for Steve Cherundolo. Maybe. I hear you. Maybe. But that being said, we lose Jesus Murillo on the back line. We lose Giorgio Chiellini to retirement. That's not on anybody. Giorgio had to retire. I miss him. If he wants to come back tomorrow, welcome him with open arms. But we lose Kike Oliveira. We lose Matty Bogusz to Cruz Azul. Now, Cruz Azul, a lot of people will look at as a step up. Mikey, I hear you about Murillo deserving more money, but the mechanism in MLS is ass backwards. It's not like in Liga MX. The mechanism in MLS is ass backwards. We can't pay the best players the best money. There's a salary cap other than the 3 DPs. And unfortunately, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely. Do you imagine telling Manchester United? Do you imagine telling Barcelona? You imagine telling Bayern Munich, no. You can't go out and get better players. It's the stupidest thing in the world. We can't retain our best players even after we win a championship. See Chicho Arango. But you have Jesus Murillo who leaves. Matty Bogusz who leaves. Kike Oliveira who leaves. Giorgio Chiellini who leaves. Ilie Sanchez who leaves. And oh, by the way, Kai Kamara. Juan, you're not wrong. Barcelona can't do that at the moment. Kai Kamara who leaves. Think about the talent that I just mentioned there. How many of you that are listening to this right now, would gladly, in a heartbeat, take number 23, Kai Kamara, over Olivier Giroud? Every single one of you should say yes. Every single one of you. And we lost him at the beginning of the season. How many out there listening? And I love Timmy Tillman. But every single one of you would take Matty Bogusz over Timmy Tillman. Every single one of you. And you know what? You'd be absolutely right. I think even Timmy Tillman might take Matty Bogusz over Timmy Tillman. How about the versatility of somebody like Kike Oliveira? And by the way, Kike, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. If you don't want to be on LAFC, that's one thing. You can take a hike. You didn't want to come back. But imagine what Steve Cherundolo would have been able to do if Kike Oliveira stayed. Now, I think we all knew the time was short with those players because of how talented they are, and they want to go off and do bigger and better things. Kike Oliveira went about it the wrong way. For all we know, Matty Bogusz went about it the right way. Lewis O'Brien, thank you, Genuine Cougar. That's another one. But he wanted to go still play in Nottingham Forest. Turns out Nottingham Forest is balling this year. So good on Lewis O'Brien. How many of you right now, paired next to Aaron Long, over Marlon, over Eddie Segura, over, and I'm sorry, Chris Lafferty, but a potentially injured Maxime Chanot, how many of you right now would take Jesus Murillo? Every single one of you would take Kai Kamara, Matty Bogusz, and Jesus Murillo over the three players that are playing now. And those are the types of ties that Steve Cherundolo had to deal with at the beginning of our season. This wasn't right after the season ended. Now, I'm sure they knew that Ilie Sanchez wouldn't be coming back right after the season ended. But that Kike Oliveira thing and that Cruz Azul Matty Bogusz thing, all that did was delay our progress even more. And I'm sorry, but Olivier Giroud has lost another step. I don't want to hear that, oh, we really should be giving Olivier Giroud better service, this and that. Ask Taylor Twellman, ask Stu Holden, ask Sasha Kleshchen, ask Bradley Wright Phillips. They have all said things. And by the way, those are professionals who did it at the highest levels of both American soccer and European soccer for quite some time. When someone's washed, they're washed. When someone's washed, they're washed. And I think we've seen him get old in the ring. I would love Olivier to copy and paste and cut this receipt. And as soon as he starts scoring a bunch of goals, he emails me, calls me, puts it up on LAFC's homepage and says, look at this idiot, the scarf. Look at what he was saying about me when I couldn't score. Right now, you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. So I'm sorry. That's it. I think Olivier Giroud is done. So between having to fit that square peg in a round hole, not having a true number 9, let's be honest. As great as Nate the Great has been this season, he's not a true 9. We have two great players. We have two great players that occupy the same position. David Martinez, who is going to get playing time over Nathan Ordaz when he's healthy, I think, because of who he is, developing who many have called the greatest prospect in Venezuelan history, and we have him here on LAFC. That has to be a testament to the playing style of Steve Cherundolo. So we have two players that occupy one wing position. We have Denis Bouanga on the other side. Oh, by the way, we have Cengiz Under. None of those guys are number 9s. They're create a minute right now. They're create a play right now. We need something out of a hat. Give me any one of those 4 guys, especially Cengiz Under, David Martinez, and Denis Bouanga. Nate will put himself in the right position on a rebound. Nate will put himself in the right position on a run. But we don't have a true number 9. And I'm sorry, but that's not on Steve Cherundolo. So I think for everybody right now who is doing a celebratory dance that Steve Cherundolo at the end of 2025 is no longer going to be the head man, all I have to say is be careful what you wish for. Now, that being said, sure, LAFC is going to swing big on this one. We swung big on the first one, right? Everybody knew Bob Bradley. He was a great name. And you know what? For a season and a half, he was everything that we needed. He put us in all kinds of positions our first year, and we were playing some guys. It was rough that first year. I mean, look, I love James Murphy and Callum Malice as much as the next guy. We were doing it with barely tread on the tire Benny Feilhaber. We were doing it with guys who, it was rough. And still Bob Bradley put us in a good spot. But then we needed that next piece. And that next piece was Steve Cherundolo. Let's not forget. I mean, that MLS Cup win is still an MLS Cup win no matter how you got there. But people that are calling for Jim Curtin, people that are calling for Jurgen Klopp, people that are calling for Carlo Ancelotti, my man Doggo Wisdom in there. Mikey is doing a celebratory dance. What I love about the chat right now is like half the chat is looking at me like I am an insane person. Like Scarf has lost it. That's it. The other half of the chat right now is like, hey, All right, let's hear him out as he rants a little bit. But all I'm saying is that grass on the other side might not be greener. I don't know who it's going to be. But here's what I think. I think it's incumbent upon us for the rest of this season to get fully behind our boys. Because our boys potentially woke up to the same news that you and I did. Woke up to the same news that you and I did, that the guy who they committed to, whether it's for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, parts of an athlete's career, those careers are so finite. Parts of an athlete's career now being committed to somebody who, and I hate to use this term, but it's true, he's a lame duck coach now. We know he's gone at the end of the season. So we need to rally around our boys. We need to rally around the players that wear the crest. I know I don't have my jersey on right now. I just came from work. That's how excited I was. We need to rally around our players and support them as much as possible. Maybe with the exception of Olivier Giroud. I don't know. But look, here's what I do know. Right now, Kai Kamara's not walking through that door. Right now, an alpha leader that we need out there, as much as we have Denis Bouanga who might try, or Marky Delgado who might not feel like it's time, we're missing that leader. And that's what Kai Kamara or Ilie Sanchez brought when they were out there. I'm telling you right now, we need to get behind our boys because we don't really have a leader out there on the pitch. I know Aaron Long wears the captain's armband. We need him to run the defense. Aaron Long can be the leader of our defense. Hugo Lloris, concentrate on making some runs and getting out there and getting to that ball a little bit sooner. Marlon, keep your damn arms down. But what we need right now, we need people to support the club. If you're a Doolo Out person, this is your birthday. It's Christmas. It's New Year's. It's Easter, Passover, all wrapped up into one. Okay? That's a good question, Mikey. All right, I'm going to answer this question down here in just a second. If I were LAFC king for a day, who would be my captain? Honestly, on this team right now, Marky Delgado. Marky Delgado might be my captain. And Marky, that's not a slight on Aaron Long at all. In fact, what I would rather have Long do is just concentrate on the four guys. Because unfortunately, who he has had to play next to him, it's been Eddie Segura some matches, Maxime Chanot, Nkosi Tafari, who I would love to see more Nkosi Tafari. Marlon, all these guys who have had to play next to him. We've seen Artem Smolyakov a little bit. We've seen Ryan Hollingshead. We've obviously have Sergi Palencia. But nobody likes the fact that I just said Marky Delgado because last year he raised MLS Cup wearing an Herbalife sash. And for all of you that feel that way, get over it. Now it's time to get over it. If you're still pissed at Mark Delgado for winning winning a chip with Carson last season, if you're still pissed, move on. Move on from that. You can be pissed at the crest. You can be pissed at Herbalife. You can be pissed at Carson, the city. You can be pissed at everything going on down there. But if there's anything that we know after 8 matches in the regular season, Mark Delgado is one of us. Mark Delgado is one of us. The way that he's been playing, absolutely balls to the wall the entire time he's been out there on the pitch, he's barely made a step or two wrong. And, oh, by the way, he's trying to develop the most important position that we have out there, a 21-year-old kid who's playing the 6 in Igor Jesus. And he's having to do it with sometimes Timothy Tillman out there. It's not easy. It's not easy, you guys. I'm telling you, everybody needs to get over that. And what we need to do is just stay behind our boys for the entire rest of the season. I don't need Denis Bouanga being captain. I need Denis Bouanga to get out of his head. I need Denis to play free. I need Denis to take shot after shot after shot and to know that they can go in. He's had a couple goalies make some great saves against him. He's also had some balls where he told you in the press conference that he missed a sitter. He said it. After he scored last match, you know what he said? Should have scored 2. That's my alpha dog that I need with the ball at his feet. That's the alpha dog that I need with the ball at his feet. Yes, he knows he has Cengiz Under, who's also world class at times. Yes, he knows he's got a young buck in David Martinez who is itching to show Venezuela and the world that he is the man. And yes, he's got a kid who's come through the academy wearing a Ball Kid shirt while LAFC was playing. I traveled out to East Jesus Nowhere to watch Nathan Ordaz score, I believe, a hat trick in an NPSL game years ago for the academy. So I know what this means to Nathan Ordaz. But I need Denis Bouanga to concentrate on scoring goals. I need Aaron Long to concentrate on running that back line. And I need Hugo Lloris to just worry about the damn ball when it's in the air. So that's why Marky Delgado is my guy. I would absolutely make Marky Delgado my guy. Now, I wonder what Ante Razov is thinking. I wonder what Mark Dos Santos is thinking, who obviously has head coaching experience before and has beaten LAFC 1-0 in one of the strangest games you'll ever see. It's going to be interesting. We got a lot of names out there. And what I want all of you, the Defenders faithful, the millions and millions, I had to do it myself, which is weird. I want you guys to keep throwing out names that make sense. Okay? Keep throwing out names that make sense. Because I don't think, honestly, that Carlo Ancelotti or Jurgen Klopp are those guys. I just don't. And I agree, Johnny, I agree with you. I agree with you. Not sure Mark Dos Santos is that guy as much as he might want to be. I don't know about Ante Razov. He hasn't had a chance to prove himself yet. I'm willing to give him a chance to prove himself. Jim Curtin, I mean, again, it's so weird to think that y'all would want Jim Curtin over Steve Cherundolo when in Jim Curtin's biggest match, Steve Cherundolo beat him. It was just one pass from Cheeky Palacios. I know, I just said that. Doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, we need to come up with some suggestions and solutions. But it's the players on the pitch. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And I'm about to sign off, so that's it. Said it before and I'll say it again. We're one player away in all three phases. We are a number 9 away. We are a left mid away. And we are a center back away from being not just MLS Cup contenders, but being MLS Cup favorites. And it is still only April 18th. April 18th. The MLS season, I think, ends like next April. That's how long the damn season is now. We have so much time to not just completely right the ship, but I'm telling you all right now, and you all know this, if you've been following this club, if you've been following what we do at LAFC, you know that on July 1st, this team is going to look different anyway. On July 1st, this team is going to look different anyway. And it's not going to be Antoine Griezmann, by the way. And I kind of hope it's not Thomas Muller. I would love Gio Reyna. I would love Gio Reyna to come in. Sorry, Timmy. But that's the guy you kind of want to play with on the U.S. men's national team. Why don't you sit and watch him for a little bit? If we get a right Gio Reyna, whoo, that could be fun. Kevin De Bruyne, guys, I don't think it's happening. I don't think Miami's going to give up the discovery rights for it to happen in MLS. I really don't. But I just, this season is so long right now. So long. It is interesting, the timing, that Steve Cherundolo announced this on April 18th. With so much of the season to go, it's interesting that he announced it. Externally. If he would have just told, I don't know, John Thorrington, if he would have just told Neil McGuinness, I think we would have been okay. But no, if he would have told Larry, all right. But this is interesting timing, right? Interesting timing. It almost kind of makes me think that something is already afoot. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. I don't know. I don't know anything about anything. But I do know this. I'll say it one last time. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because on the other side of that, not sure what we'll get. Okay? Not sure what we'll get. But either way, y'all, 9 o'clock tonight, which is in just 3 hours. 9 o'clock tonight. One more sleep. I'll talk about everything that you want to know about Portland. They got some ballers. Turns out it's going to be a fun match up in Providence Park. But we'll see you guys at 9 o'clock tonight for one more sleep, our match preview. For everybody all the way already up in Portland, or for everybody headed up to Portland, be safe this weekend. They have a lot of IPAs out there, so be careful. Otherwise, you guys know how we like to end these things. Thanks for joining us on a little impromptu. Wait, what moment when Steve Cherundolo says he's out at the end of 2025. Bye-bye.